Greetings, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty, here at you again with another edition of this week's vlog. We bring you again another week, another great week, another busy week, but better week. And partly that is because we're learning how to manage ourselves more and more each day by doing what we do to make sure that we make sure that our mental health matters and how managing my mental health matters. And that's what continues on in the next part of our series. But before we go on to that, I want to just tell you a little bit about myself in a few brief statements. My name is Dustin. I'm autistic. I'm 40 years old. I've been living this autism thing, I believe, all my life, but have been diagnosed for over 25 years. I've had a part-time job for 15, and I've lived on my own for over 7. And through that, we have learned many things, and part of it is finally turning into a good grace because we have learned how to manage our mental health and why managing my mental health matters. It matters every day. It matters basically every hour. Make sure we are keeping to ourselves. We're taking care of ourselves. We're being the best selves that we can be. And while I always stress the importance, I had a hard time learning over the past 6 of those 7 years how important my mental health medication does matter. But it's more than just medication. There's other things that when life becomes stressed or throws its life in the way, it too means that we have to be responsible and take time for ourselves to rest, recharge, and regroup, and be part of what is what we would consider, and many others would be consider self-care. And self-care in of itself, it sounds like a buzzword. It is. And for many times I attempted to take it. But there was always something that always threw itself in the way when I wanted to take time for self-care that made life a little more challenging or a little more stressful, but in turn it never was really what self-care was, what self-care needed to be, and what self-care needed to be had. But eventually life throws you reminders that says, hey, you need to take care of yourself. And, whether that's somebody saying, hey, you need to take care of yourself because I can sense that you're not being yourself, or even if are doing what you need to do, there can still be moments when life throws you additional stresses, additional challenges, and you can sense in yourself that, you need to take time for you. And there is no shame in that. For me, I'm grateful that I do have a job that even though it may not be totally perfect, but I mean, the job is perfect, but I may not have enough, from a financial standpoint to take some time for self-care. But I knew, this week that it was needed because, I could sense in myself that, you know, my nerves were getting shot, and I needed to regroup and get back on track. That may mean sleeping, napping, doing whatever it means. And the last few days, particularly because I have been, going and doing, maybe a nap is something that is a part of what that plan is. It may not mean a 2 hour nap, but maybe a nap of 45 minutes to an hour every day, just so you can regroup and be put back into where you need to be so you can do things like what I do for myself as a hobby, such as sharing this vlog with you all. I mean, that in and of itself is of something. And sometimes we don't see the how something so small and so important matters. And that is just one of many things that makes managing my mental health matter, and why on such a day as World Mental Health Day as it is on October the 10th, why it does matter to take care of ourselves. We can only take care of ourselves. We can only keep going on this path that we're going for so long before we realize that we just can't give anymore. We don't have any more to give. And, sometimes it requires us just to say, hey, we need to stop for a minute. We need to slow down. We need to do what we need to do. We need to break away for just a little bit and take care of ourselves. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to find what we do for our own personal self-care and what we need to do to keep ourselves in line and in check and be our best selves. We need to see what that does for us. It can look different from person to person. And for me, that looks different in many ways, but sometimes it's just what gets you by for the day, and sometimes it's what you need to regroup and refresh yourselves and be back to where you need to be for the here and now. And that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, practicing self-care. And in fact, in some situations, it's essential to make sure that you are managing your mental health and you are taking care of it because managing your mental health matters. And we want everybody, regardless of who they are, to be their best self all the time and to take care of themselves and to do what is needed for the different things that we need and how we need to do it and why we need to do it. It's just how it is and how we get to be and how we get to do things and why t being well matters so much. I think the hardest thing for me to see was that yes, it does matter. Yes, medicine matters too. And once I had that understanding of medicine and busting those myths that I had and those theories and those flawed thoughts, things got a lot better for me. And in time, things improved and relationships improved, you know, getting through the day in and day out improved. And while medicine's just one of those things, but it's also the other things too. They all matter in their own way each and every day, day in and day out. And it was so hard for me to see that, we just can't take our medicine this day and that day just because we think we do. We have to make sure that we are on point every day, especially myself, as if I'm going through the life and the challenges that I have. Anything could change at any moment, at any time. And, I have to be my best all the time so that I am ready to take care of myself and be sure that I do what is best. And when you have challenges of mental health and autism that play in and play daily in your life, it is imperative that you do what you need to do to take care of yourself and be your best because nobody wants you at your worst. And I have done so much for myself in the past 20, 25 years to make me the man that I am today. And I can be the man I want to be and be the person that I want to be instead of having a surviving quality of life. Why wouldn't I want a thriving quality of life? I had seen that somewhere today. What if you were not surviving, but you were thriving? And when I take care of myself and I take my medication as prescribed and I do what's right and I get the adequate rest, I am thriving. I am doing my best. And it took me a very long time in my own independence to see that and know that it does matter. Taking care and taking your medication is just one part of making sure your mental health matters and managing your mental health matters every day. But it's all of it. It's not just the medication. It's the rest. It's nourishing yourself. And it's all those dimensions of wellness that come into play. But most of all, managing my mental health by doing whatever I need, whether that's medication, rest, whatever, can ensure that I have the best self and I am the best self that I can be. So I wanted to share that with you today and ensure that, sometimes we have to do what we have to do, but, and it means that we have to stick it out and do what's right and be patient with ourselves and give ourselves grace. And in time, it will happen for you. So I want to thank you again for listening today. Be sure to follow me and like this video and tap on notification bells if you want to hear my content if you're on my site. We usually pop new content every weekend. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Pinterest. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on the internet. My address is www.dustinsdynastyusa.com. And lastly, I'm on Linktree. That's where you can find all my handles to all my important links, my podcasting platforms, and my socials. That handle again, their Linktree is Dustin's Dynasty. Again, I want to thank you. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. You matter. You are enough. You are loved. And have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.